You ever have one of those days where you're just completely convinced that the universe shorted you on hours? You think, man, if I just had a 30-hour day, everything would click into place, right? You'd finally start that big project, you'd be on top of everything, and life would just fix itself. Well, I used to live by that idea. It was my morning coffee and my nightly prayer.
Yeah, this was my mantra. I said it to myself all the time. It was the perfect excuse for why I felt stuck, why my life wasn't really moving forward. I just don't have the time, I'd tell anyone who'd listen. And you know what? It felt so true. But it was a lie, a huge one.
The real problem, the kind of embarrassing, hard-to-swallow truth, wasn't about a lack of time, not even close. It was that I had all the time in the world, and I was just letting it slip through my fingers. And the day I finally got a clue about what was really going on, well, that was the day everything started to change.
My big wake-up call didn't come from some famous productivity book or a motivational speech. Nope. It came from a super simple, almost offhand conversation with a friend that just completely blew my excuses out of the water. So I was doing my usual thing, complaining about how busy I was, how I was totally swamped. And he just cuts through it all and asks me this one simple question. And I thought, I know the answer to that.
I actually laughed. I was so sure of myself. An hour, maybe? Tops? I mean, it sounded right, didn't it? I'm a busy guy after all. I don't have time to be glued to my phone. He just kind of smiled, pulled out his own phone and said, "Why don't you check your screen time app?"
5 hours. I stared at that number on the screen. 5 hours spent on my phone in a single day. It felt like getting caught red-handed, like I was the one stealing from myself, you know? Because that's exactly what was happening. I was robbing myself of my own time and then having the nerve to complain that I was broke.
Now, what did I actually get for those 5 hours of my life? Absolutely nothing. It was just a black hole of endless scrolling, watching random videos I couldn't even remember, reading stuff that vanished from my brain 2 minutes later, even playing games I didn't really like. It was a 5-hour void. My problem wasn't a time problem at all. It was a priority problem wearing a very convincing disguise.
And here's the thing, the real secret that nobody really wants to admit. You have the exact same 24 hours in a day as every single successful person you can think of. They don't have a secret time machine, they just have a totally different way of thinking about what time even is.
There are really two ways to look at this. There's the old mindset where time is like the weather. It just happens to you. It's out of your control. That's when you say things like, "I just don't have time." But then there's this new mindset, the one where time isn't something that happens to you, it's a choice. It's something you create. You don't say, "I don't have time," you say, "I will make time."
This right here, this is the whole game. You don't find time hiding under the couch cushions. You don't suddenly have a free afternoon drop into your lap. You make it. You actively carve it out of your day by deciding what matters. And to really prove this to myself, I decided to run a little experiment. For one entire week, I became a scientist of my own life. I wrote down every single minute, what I was eating, what I was working on, when I was scrolling, who I was talking to, every little thing. I wanted to see the raw, unfiltered, maybe even ugly truth of where my life was actually going.
And I'm not gonna lie, at the end of that week, I looked at that log and I seriously felt like crying. The amount of time I'd wasted on things that had zero value was staggering. Get this, I spent a full hour every single morning just scrolling on my phone while still in bed. That's 7 hours a week, a whole workday, just gone, before I even put my feet on the floor.
And that's when I learned about this really sneaky time thief called sophisticated procrastination. It's all the stuff that feels productive, but is actually just a clever way to avoid the really hard, important work. You know, oh, I'll just check my email one more time, or my desk really needs organizing before I can start. It's all just hiding.
So this whole experience forced me to create a brand new framework for my life, a new way to make decisions. I decided I was going to start treating my time with the same level of respect that I treat my money.
I mean, think about it, right? If someone came up and asked you for $100, you'd probably ask some questions. What's it for? Is it a good use of the money? But when it comes to our time, which is so much more valuable, you can't earn it back. We just give it away. We hand it over to a boring TV show, to an app designed to keep us scrolling, to any random thing that asks for it. We treat our most valuable asset like it's worthless.
So this became my new filter for absolutely everything. Before I said yes to an invitation, an app, or a task, I'd ask myself this one very powerful question. Because that's what we're talking about here.
Time isn't just minutes on a clock. It's little, non-renewable pieces of your life. Is that hour of scrolling worth an hour of your life? Is that meeting that could have been an email worth a piece of your one existence? Almost always the answer is no.
So here's the big shift. Once you start asking that question, your whole approach to your day gets turned completely upside down. You stop letting all the random, unimportant junk fill up your calendar by default.
My new system was actually pretty simple. First, I got really clear on my priorities, what actually mattered. Then, and this is key, I put those things in my calendar first. I scheduled them like they were the most important meetings of the week, because they were. After that, everything else, all the little stuff, had to find a home in the empty spaces around my priorities. And finally, the hardest part, I learned to say no to protect those blocks of time like a bulldog.
And the change was incredible. Within just 1 month, I finished a project that had been sitting on my to-do list for ages. I was exercising regularly for the first time in years. But here's the crazy part. I felt like I had more free time, not less, because I'd finally stopped pouring all my hours down the drain on useless stuff.
Okay, so now I want to turn this back to you. I have a challenge for you if you're up for it. A chance to see the real, unedited story of your own life, just like I did.
That's all it is. For just 7 days, be brutally honest with yourself. Track where every hour goes. Don't judge yourself, just collect the data. See where your life is actually being spent. Trust me, once you see it in black and white, you can't unsee it.
And this is really the whole thing, the ultimate point. The solution isn't getting more time. The solution is to have more respect for the time you already have. It's about deciding to stop giving away priceless pieces of your life to things that just don't deserve them.
So, after you track your week, look at that log, at that data, and just ask yourself this one final question. Because what you're really looking at isn't just a schedule, it's a snapshot of your life. And the amazing thing is, you have all the power to change that picture, starting right now.